What's good, y'all? Shagamaka. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and every subscriber helps. Over here on this channel, we make daily NBA content. So if you enjoy the NBA as much as I do, please subscribe. And today we're going to be talking about, this narrative about Steph Curry that I really just don't agree with at all. In fact, I strongly disagree with it. And it's the notion that he has to carry this squad this year to the playoffs to prove himself all time. Like, I'm not really, 1,000% sure on what the narrative is, but from what I understand is that because Curry has never took a team to the playoffs before, he has to do it this year to prove himself. Because people seem to think that, Steph Curry has never taken a lesser team to the playoffs. Like, they think Steph Curry never elevated a roster. Not saying he had to, carry like a LeBron 2007 Cavs roster, but he did have to carry a worse roster, to the playoffs in his career. And so for people to be like he has to do that this year to assume like prove himself, it's something I really disagree with. So, today I got, the stats, I got the whole spiel about how Steph Curry took the Warriors to the playoffs early on in his career. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was not watching Warriors basketball way back then. I was not watching Warriors basketball when Steph Curry got drafted. I think I might have been like 7, 8, so I wasn't watching basketball at all back then. Well, not seriously basketball. But Steph Curry, from what I know, after looking back at it, he came in the league. He was a lottery pick. But as soon as he came in the league, he had those ankle issues and the injuries, and it took him out for a lot of time. And then the one season that he finally was able to play, upwards of 75 games is the season that he did, well for the Warriors. So in 2012-2013 season, Steph Curry got the Warriors the number 7 seed in the West, 47 wins and 35 losses. 22.9 points per game, 45% from the field, and 45% from three. And the second best scorer on that team was David Lee with about 18 points, like 18.3 points, something like that. So I don't want to say that he carried this team because carry is the wrong word here. But that roster was not as good as, a lot of rosters that he's been on. Like, in that team, it was a young Draymond, a young Clay, Harrison Barnes was there, Kent Bazemore, Jared Jack, Richard Jefferson, guys like that. That is a fine playoff team, you know what I'm saying? But Steph Curry taking that next step and really showing like he's one of the best, deep threats in the NBA, that is what got that roster to the playoffs. Like, people try to act like you take Steph Curry away and that team back then is going to the playoffs. That's not the case at all. That would not happen. Steph Curry, elevated that roster. Without him, they wouldn't smell the playoffs. They wouldn't have, any hope of the playoffs. They'd be a lottery team. And that's just, one season that he took them to the playoffs. And in that season, not only did he take them to the playoffs, he took them to the second round of the playoffs. They beat Denver, I think, in about 6 games in the first round. I might be wrong about that. And then they lose to the Spurs in the second round. And the Spurs in 2013, that's a good Spurs team right there. They went to the finals that year. They lost in 7 in the finals, but that's a great Spurs team. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Young Kawhi, the whole squad over there. That's not a bad team to lose to in the second round, for Steph Curry and the young Warriors at that time. And the next season, right after that, Steph Curry Steph Curry takes them to the 6th seed, 51-31, shooting 48% from the field, 42% from three. And the second best scorer was now Klay Thompson with 18. But this year, David Lee also averaged 18 as well. So you got two 18-point per game scorers, and then you got a 23-point scorer, a 24-point scorer in Steph Curry. So once again, Steph Curry, I wouldn't say that he carried this team, but he once again definitely elevated this team. And if Steph Curry does not make the jump, and if he does not, get his ankle injuries in check, none of those teams are sniffing the playoffs. So for people to say that Steph Curry has to carry this trash Warriors team this year to the playoffs to prove himself all time is a ridiculous statement, because he's taken teams to the playoffs before. Teams that weren't, super stacked, or, everybody wasn't at their full potential yet. He's taken young Clay and young Draymond, and he's taking Harrison Barnes to, to the playoffs. He was a huge main reason for them getting to the playoffs at that point. And now this season, even if Steph does not take them to the playoffs, it doesn't do anything for me, ranking him all time, because Steph Curry has done so much in his career, and in a short amount of time too. It's like once Steph got rolling, he was just gone. He was just one of the best in the NBA. So if he doesn't take this team to the playoffs this year, I'm not gonna blame him. Kelly Oubre is shooting, 10% from the field, 10% from three or something like that. Andrew Wiggins is shooting 20% from the field or something crazy like that. And Draymond Green has been injured. Their, second best player is a rookie in James Wiseman. The bench depth is, horrible. So if Steph Curry can't, drag this horrible team in the competitive West to the playoffs, because when you look at the bottom of the West, there's teams, like Timberwolves there, the Pelicans there, the Grizzlies are there, the Kings are there. There are, a lot of competitive bottom of the West teams, that Steph Curry and the Warriors have to compete against. So I'm not going to blame him if he can't, take this bad fitting Warriors roster to the playoffs, because it doesn't do anything for me all the time. Steph Curry already wrote his book. Anything, after this is just a cherry on top. Could he use a couple more All-NBA selections? Yeah. Could he use a couple more All-Star appearances? Of course. Could he use a couple more historic three-point shooting seasons? 1,000%. But for people to say that Steph Curry has to, carry this roster to prove something is a completely ridiculous and false statement. Steph Curry has already proved that he's one of the best shooters of all time. A top two, maybe one, if you're feeling that way. Top two, top one point guard of all time. So he's already taken teams to the playoffs already. We already got that, out of the way. There's nothing nobody can tell me that, would warrant Steph Curry having to prove himself this year by taking this team to the playoffs. It wouldn't prove anything. It would just prove something we already know, which is that he's a great, amazing player and that he can, lift teams to, not being mediocre. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want to get on here and just, drop my thoughts on that. And NBA's been, cool. Last night, Christmas games weren't, so amazing, but the basketball was good. I just wish we had one close game. But that's not what this video is about. Steph Curry has nothing to prove. He's already proved what we know about him. Him taking this team to the playoffs, which he probably will, would only, reinforce what we already know about him. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time, one of the best point guards of all time, and that's Steph Curry. That's what we know about him. But yeah, if you stay to the end of this video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.